Becky. I'm the fight director and actor manager for the Ohio Shakespeare Festival.
And I'm Tess Bergler. I'm the managing director for Ohio Shakespeare Festival. We're also both company members working in the acting company, but I also, in terms of stage combat, work as sort of Ryan's assistant, a fight captain kind of thing.
So the title is what it is. So I am the director of the fights. That means it is my responsibility to train all of our actors in the art of stage combat. I choreograph and put together all of the sequences of violence, whether that is a huge 12-person melee or a one-on-one duel, or if it's just a character being shot with either an arrow or a gun. And then on occasion, that also means handling the blood effects as well. So,
and sometimes even something as simple as a slap
or
a shove.
Grabbing someone by the shirt or like pushing them down or something like that. Like any moment of aggression in a play should be handled by someone who's been trained in stage combat, because it's very easy for people to get injured and they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think my favorite way you phrase it is that we already know how to do real violence. You can really shove someone. You can really slap someone. The point of theater is to look like you're doing it without doing it.
Right.
And so that's where you need the professional. Keeping people safe.
Yeah, at the end of our day, Tess and I should be able to have all of our actors come in, perform the show, and that includes any moments of violence, whether they are giant melee battles and whatnot, and everyone should be able to go home the exact same way that they came in, without any cuts, scrapes, bruises, broken bones, bleeding, anything like that.
And also to be able to do the moves successfully every single show.
Yes.
Not only not hurt yourself, but have a set of moves that will be done for all intents and purposes the same way every night and successfully maneuvered.
Oh, and then also make that believable for you, the audience. So, no big deal. I have always been a huge fan of just like sword fighting and running around the woods with like a fake bow and arrow and running, jumping, climbing trees. But I got into this specifically, like this. I said, like, this is a career you could do. When I first took a workshop in college, it was one of the SAFD, the Society of American Fight Directors, which is the organization that I trained with. It was an SAFD sanctioned workshop, and it was, I'm going to butcher her name. It was Sarah Gina Machiavelli, I don't know. She's got a fantastic last name, but I butcher all the time. But it was her and her assistant, John Baca. They both came in and taught a workshop at my college, and it was a little 3-day workshop over the weekend, and I loved it. And I was just like, how do I do more of this? And so then I took it upon myself to train myself up, and then from there, my college let me choreograph things for them because they didn't have anybody at the time. And then I just kept pursuing it.
And you had a stint with Blue Jacket, which was an outdoor drama, summer work where they taught him a lot of SAFD stuff and got him some of his first certifications.
Yeah. That was my big...
And I am only new to fight choreography for the past maybe 3 years or so, but I train with Ryan all the time. And I also have done a bunch of SAFD workshops now, but I got into it by just doing it for a show that I needed to do it for, and then falling in love with it.
Well, and then also Tess has been cast in, she's a huge, actor fighter. She's amazing. And so she's been our D'Artagnan, she's been our Hamlet, in our touring production of Romeo and Juliet, she's our Tybalt now. She has had to sort of, by virtue of the parts that she's been given, really
learn how to do it.
Really step up, and she has. Daily training.
It's any kind of athletic, a dancer, you have to dance all the time to really be a dancer. You have to fight all the time to really be a fighter.
So the beautiful thing about our sort of chosen profession here, or at least the little corner that stage combat fits into, is that there's a lot of work you can do on it that isn't just getting up and doing the work, like going out and watching, fight movies or seeing plays or reading books that have everything that has a reference or a lens on violence is a thing that you can use to either inform your choreography or take as a perspective. And so like all of that can then get wrapped into sort of the daily exercises that you should be doing of, working out, practicing with all of the weapons, because there are 8 weapon disciplines that the SAFD recognizes, as well as a whole bunch more that just sort of exist out in the world, whether it is just a simple knife fight or an unarmed fisticuffs fight or Bolognese side sword fight. That so all of these things exist.
In terms of making it your career, what you want to start doing is looking at SAFD, the Society of American Fight Directors, or organizations that are like that, like DII, Dueling Arts International, and then there are different ones for Canada and the UK and things like that. But there are amounts of hours of learning that you need to collect before you can test in each weapon, and then you can test in all the weapons until you get to testing in 8, and then there's a whole nother certification you need to get before you are allowed to be a certified teacher, and then after certified teacher, there is fight director, and then finally fight master. So there are ranks that you can grow into. For the most part, you want to get to at least an advanced actor combatant or CT before you are doing stuff like Ryan's doing. Playing with swords?
Yeah, seriously, I get to tell fantastic moments of storytelling wherein at the end of a really, really violent moment, everyone gets to get up and go home. Like, no one's hurt and everyone's good. That is our job. Our job. So it's that beautiful moment of like storytelling and swords. You constantly have to keep educating yourself.
Yeah, you can't just sit on your laurels once you've learned it and be like, well, now I'm a stage combatant,
yeah.
so I will always have that skill.
Well, I can't tell you the amount of people who have like, well, yeah, I did a fight once in a show 5 years ago, so yeah, I know how to do stage combat. And you're like...
No, you don't. It might come back to you a little quicker.
It's like if you've learned to do a skill, like, say, for instance, archery, and then you don't do that for 5 years, do you think you're going to be as good as you were when you first started to do it? So the hardest part about this is that you just have to constantly keep seeking out new information. And the other thing is that with the beautiful world of intimacy now being like integrated into stage combat, and that being another essential part of our world, you just have to keep educating yourself. You can't allow information to sort of pass you by and be like, oh, well, I know what I know, and so that's all I need to know. It's the matter of constantly seeking out. You're always a student. Also,
you need to have a lot of money and time in some capacities.
Yeah.
Now, I say a lot, and that's not completely true, but it is a concern, something to consider. So when you are getting those hours from the SAFD, they cost money, and sometimes not a small amount of money to get those hours, and then you have to pay to do the testing, and then you have to pay to re-up your certification every 3 years. So there's money involved, and there's time to be spent, right? Because you can go to something like nationals in the summer and get a lot of that certification out of the way, but it costs a few $1,000s and your whole summer. So you need to think about the time and the money that you have to put into it as well. Okay, I got to play D'Artagnan in The Three Musketeers, and there was one move where in the middle of, like, sword play, I, like, got this guy's sword bound up in my own sword, kicked him to the ground while throwing his sword up in the air, and then catching his sword and my sword at the same time, and I actually pulled it off.
And not only pulled it off, like, pulled it off, I think, almost every night.
I think I missed it one night.
I think maybe she missed it once.
Yeah.
Out of like an 8 performance, which, like, when I first put the move in, I didn't think I couldn't do it consistently, and I was like, God, I really hope Tess will be able to pull this off, and she did, and it was awesome. There have been so many things that I have gotten to do from my job. I've been able to shoot a bow and arrow from horseback. I've been able to, like, unload a clip in a blank firing gun. I've got to shoot a cannon. Like, so... Like, it's a fantastic world that offers you a lot of opportunities. I've gotten to be the hero. I've gotten to be the villain. I've gotten to be, the sidekick. And so, yeah, lots of cool stuff. So reach out and talk to me, or Tess, or anyone at the Ohio Shakespeare Festival. We can definitely point you in the right direction. Or
go to the SAFD website, safd.org, and just read up on what it takes to become, an actor combatant, advanced actor combatant, CT, and so on.
Totally. They're again, with the internet, the information is out there. Seek it out, and you will find your answers.
All right. If you have questions for us, you can reach both of us at info@ohioshakespeare.com. That's INFO at Ohio Shakespeare, SHAKESPEARE.com.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great day.